I I think I called it last night. I was like, is Tesla gonna is Tesla gonna
Yeah, I
announce
saw
something
that.
today?
Saw your post.
I had a
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had a
I was
feeling.
like, I feel like I feel like Elon's pushing them to do things again.
Yeah.
I think I think that's where it's at, and they were supposed to do it tomorrow. That was the goal, right? Tomorrow was the goal for them to
Yep.
have the Model Y drive all the way to somebody's house as a delivery.
Yeah.
But the fact that it happened today, an extra day early, which is not super impressive that it was an extra day early, but it's amazing that it happened.
Yeah. It's so odd that it was like a day early, and then I'm driving, but maybe you
Yeah.
can look this up. Uh, a show
Okay.
just posted on X who the first who the first guy was. His name is Jose, and he says, "Thanks, Jose, for participating in
Dang.
our first autonomous delivery mission. Please take care, good care of our little one." Um,
I'm
and then
looking
they
right
took some
now
photos.
on my wife's phone.
Okay, yeah, that's so cool.
Did you
That's
see all the
awesome.
Neuralink stuff too, though?
I did. I need to catch up on the videos at work. I saw that it was like an hour-ish long or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah, that's a little long.
I gotta look it up. But dude, the biggest thing that I got from it as I was kind of scrolling through X was like being able to eventually control Optimus with your brain. Like that is so dope.
Yeah. And I think the guy hinted at it a while back ago. He was talking the guy that was playing chess and Mario Kart with his brain. I forgot his name, but
Yeah,
that guy he mentioned, I would love for me to be able to control Optimus so that way my mom and dad don't have to take care of me anymore.
yeah.
Because
No, that
part sucks, right? Like this guy, he's a grown man who's been trying to take care of himself. And now
yeah,
with Neuralink and Optimus, he does not need his parents if that's the case. And imagine having like a little mini fleet of them and like kind of commanding them, hey, go wash the dishes, do this, walk the
or my
dogs.
laundry. Yeah,
I think like three of them. Like like that right there would be so amazing for him, especially just life wise. Like not to get too crazy, but he won't have to have his parents come and shower him, go to the bathroom, like things like
right.
that. He'll just have the robot do it. So, oof, mind blowing.
That's so cool. That's so cool, man. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that like I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and at least kind of like the more original Star Wars, not the more recent stuff. But uh, I mean, I always thought like, yeah, like Elon says, having a C3PO or an R2D2 at your disposal, like that's just that's just so dope, you know? Like like let's
Yeah,
say I forget to take down the trash cans on trash day. I'm at work. I could just, you know, ping my Optimus and be like, "Hey, take down the trash cans for me real quick," you know? Like just those little
yeah.
use
Or
cases
or
add up.
or you forgot to turn off the stove.
Oh, that's a huge one. Imagine homeowners
I feel like
insurance.
I feel like people forget that.
Yes. Dude, what kind of implications would this have for homeowners insurance? Like you have an Optimus at home that can guard your
Hmm.
house, that can
Hmm.
potentially, if there is some sort of fire or whatever, it can immediately put it out. So like
Hmm.
homeowners or insurance companies are gonna be like, oh yeah, no, that's like that's not a liability. That's actually an asset to your home that actually helps preserve it. It's
Hmm.
just like, dude, this could have wide-ranging implications towards even insurance. Like nobody thinks about
Yeah,
that, but like even things
yeah.
like that.
Or or even something crazier. Let's say someone breaks into your house and they have a weapon or something. Optimus will just bear hug them and be like,
Oh yeah,
your I'm not leaving your site till the cops are here." And it'll like contact police, take care of everything,
yep.
and by the time you get home, you're like, "What happened?" And the robot will
Oh
do
yeah,
a little mini replay of the video or something. Be like, "This is what happened today while you were gone." But
dude, that is
everything's
so
okay
cool.
because I hugged him. I hugged
Yeah,
him till the cops came.
that is so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. I
Like
mean,
no need for like violence or anything. Like it's a robot, so it doesn't have to fight or anything. It just will be like, "Come here." Like, you're not getting away. I'm gonna call the cops. You're done. Like, I'm not. You're not hurt. I'm not hurt. And
Yeah,
the law took care of the rest.
yeah, yeah. And I think and I think a lot of folks like you and I, we're currently, not financial advice, but we're currently invested in Tesla for now, particularly because autonomy is right around the corner, right? Like obviously we'll talk about the human-less delivery today in a bit, but the fact that like humanoids are not that far away, and the fact that you don't need as many you don't need to overcome as many regulatory hurdles as you do with like autonomous driving
Mhm.
and being an actual taxi service, like all that stuff. Like you need so much red tape that you need to go through, whereas with a robot, like you already have Roombas in your house. What's another robot that can do 1,000 times more than what a Roomba can do, um, and so I feel like there's so many investors that are kind of like more in it for the long-term call option of Optimus than like just the just the autonomous business. Like I think that it builds on each other, but I think the real holy grail is like fully utilizable humanoid robots. And Optimus I think is what offers that to like retail investors and institutional investors.
I feel like there was a flood of people who started investing more into Tesla in the last few Optimus showings,
Yes.
especially when they started showing like it doing all my I showed the video to my mom, and again, like my parents around me is not like and the stuff that I like, and that's fine. I feel like as soon as she saw that, she was done. It was over. She was sold on it. Like at first, anyone that thinks, "Oh, robot's gonna be in my house," that's kind of scary. Yes, but then when you see what it can do, like fold clothes, throw out trash cans, stir the pot there's while you're gone to go do something or whatever,
Yeah.
maintain the household generally is as soon as they see that, it's like even my mom who isn't like the biggest fan of Tesla and the whole Elonomics, she saw that and she goes, "Whoa!" Like I want like that just makes more sense for me. It makes sense for life. Like, I'm gonna get older. Things are harder, and I'm gonna need that in the future. So I think that super impressive and amazing for people that need it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think it really is just a matter of the use cases, right? Like people being exposed to the use case. Obviously, unfortunately, with any new technology, you kind of think of the worst case scenario, right? Like obviously with Optimus, everybody thinks of the Terminator situation. With the internet, I'm sure everybody thought of like, oh, we're never going to use
First
credit
thing
cards on the internet, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, a lot.
And
I
and
feel like
now,
a lot of people. I feel like they were scared of it.
yep. And and obviously, I think like anything new, it's gonna take a little bit of just getting used to it before it becomes mainstream. Like even what's his name, Steve Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft back in the day when the iPhone was first announced. Even he was like, "Who's gonna want a phone without a keyboard?" Like very facetiously, but I think he was serious about it. Like he's like, "Dude, BlackBerry or Microsoft phone is the way to go." And look at us now, like 2 decades later, right? Like everybody and their mother has an iPhone, if not like an Android that's full screen, right? Like whatever. And so same thing with like any new technology.
Even though Obama phones don't have the keypads, like they give you a touchscreen phone like
Yeah,
for free.
yeah, yeah. So funny. It's a matter of time
Like
before people come
not
around.
even the cheapest phones,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Again, it's one of those things that it just takes time for people to eventually like what they see,
Yeah.
eventually enjoy the thing. It's kind of like almost even in fashion trends, people ragged on Crocs forever, and now everyone's wearing Crocs. Like I
Seriously.
forgot what movie it was, but like I forgot what movie it was, and hopefully I remember during the conversation here. But they there was a movie back in the day that was supposed to like show what the future. They said, let's get like these crazy looking shoes that no one's ever gonna buy, and we're just gonna use them for our movie prop. And then the people in the movie were like, what if they become like famous?
Yeah.
Like, what if the shoe becomes famous? And they're like, no,
Yeah.
that'll never happen. That was Crocs. That was Crocs. Like, Crocs became famous later on, and they were like, no one will ever wear these shoes. They're just so weird. And boom, where are we?
Here we are.
Where are we now? Like, I'm not a big
Uh,
fan of them, but people will rag on stuff, try it out, and they find out Crocs are super comfortable, and they're like, you know what? Maybe there's something going on here, like, something I
yeah.
didn't see prior, and now like I really like it.
Yeah. I will say, I don't own Crocs, but like there was this, uh, there's this kids playground that we went to for, I think it was Mother's Day. Anyway, it's an indoor playground for kids, and for you to go to use the restroom, they offer you like, obviously you got to be wearing your own socks, but they offer you Crocs to use as you walk into the restroom because once you get into the playground, like no shoes are allowed, so they offer you Crocs. That was the first time I've ever worn Crocs. The most like comfortable sandal looking thing that I've ever worn. I'm like, dude, okay, I could see why people rock these like to the beach, to church, to like everywhere,
It's not the
like
look.
it's the comfort.
It's not the look. It's the comfort.
It really
Okay,
is.
going back to Teslas. Some people don't like the look of Teslas. I'm not like a big I'm not big on what the car looks like, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
always the kind of person that get me from A to B. I'm good. Like, I don't care, right? When I got the
Yeah.
Tesla, there was always mixed signals. Some people liked it, some people disliked it. And the
Yeah.
people that dislike it, again, it's going to be a comfort thing. Why would you want to drive if the car can just drive for you? Like, comfort. That's why.
Yeah.
And also, comfort. That's going to be a tough one there. People will choose comfort over design almost always. Like,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah. Even
it's
Elon
a
said,
tough one.
right, that like your car is it's like a cat. Like it just looks like any normal cat. But like your car is the cat that can talk, like your cat can actually talk versus all the other cats, like and our cars are the ones that can drive themselves, from point A to point B with almost zero intervention. So it's like, but not everybody can see that right off the bat. On the surface they can't see that. Like nobody knows that my around me, nobody knows my car's driving itself. So,
Yeah.
um,
Why would you want a basic black cat when you can get Salem from
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah,
cat? Like,
100%, 100%. Uh,
it's a tough one.
oh yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
It
And
gives
I
you
think,
gives you
and then
insight.
going back to Optimus though, like I don't know if somebody mentioned it today or whatnot, but it's literally like being Iron Man in a sense because you're kind of you're kind of gosh, I'm only remembering his real name, Robert Downey Jr. But you're Tony Stark, but then your Optimus is like your Iron Man suit, you know? Um, it's like your Iron Man suit, and so you can have it work and do things for you that like Iron Man suit would do without him having to like embody the Iron Man suit, So I feel like that's a cool kind of analogy to explain it.
Number three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Movie and all the cat. Yeah. It's exactly that. It's literally he told the robots to come and help him, and then he fought off an army of humans, and just all the robots were there to help him.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you have more three to miss cleaning your house, it's I'm like, hey, these are the chores for the day. I'll see you when I get home.
Yep. Yep. Man. Yeah, there was so much dopamine today as far as like these announcements go. First with like Neuralink,
Oh
and
yeah,
then with Elon just like willy nilly, randomly, like just posting on X. Like I thought that was interesting how he just posted it, and then the day early thing too. I'm thinking, okay, why a day early? Like, why did it even matter? Like it's it's interesting. Like I wonder if it's more of just regional expansion within the Austin area, or are they feeling more confident in just being able to roll out potentially more vehicles into the robotaxi fleet and expanding the geographical area? Like, because if you think about it, from the factory to whatever the homeowner's home is, the factory was technically outside of the range of the robotaxi platform, right? So obviously, I think that's a more like self-imposed geographical restriction for Tesla than it is like, hey, it's Austin saying, hey, you can only work within these parameters. So, so I imagine that I would think that they would probably start kind of, opening the spigot a little bit more, if you will, and letting the Robotaxi platform kind of cover more area. But at the same time, they're also cooking up potentially, I would imagine, a new FSD version. Uh, because I don't
They
know,
said
like,
no driver,
yeah,
no
no
no one
driver.
was in the car, no one was controlling it, nothing.
And
It was
so,
just it took off, went to their house.
and I don't know if I would trust V13.2.9 to like, even if it's even if it's a few miles, 3 to 5 miles or whatever it is. I still don't think I would trust like version 13.2.9. Um, just because I've had, and not critical interventions, but I've had interventions here and there of, hey, I don't think I should be making this turn, or it's kind of like turning into like not the correct lane, So I would imagine it's probably at least 13.3, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, Jose is the guy's name who got the first delivery. So hopefully he'll start posting. Hey, here's my software version. Here's my FSD version. Like, hopefully Fourth of July, for example, is when all of us kind of get treated to a new FSD release or something.
That and I think the early delivery is kind of like I feel like they're ready, it's done. Maybe it's already version 14. Maybe it's that clean of a version because of the fact that they didn't need to intervene at all. They just sent it to that
Yeah.
one individual, or they had their cars drive to that individual's like general vicinity, and then they were like, "Oh, I think it's fine. Like we've driven 20, 30 times or whatever all the way to his house from the factory, and it seems fine."
Yeah.
Um, I think I think it's also early delivery. It was kind of like ordering from Amazon
Yeah.
package delivered 1 day early. So maybe it's one of those things where it's like the estimate was the 28th, but just so happens to be 1 day early. And ta-da, like it just gives you that one dopamine earlier uh, of 1 day. But like, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Thank you, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to order some more now.
Yeah. I just I just wonder, like, it's a huge milestone, right? Like, you're literally delivering a product without any human intervention for the most part. Obviously they probably still had, kind of remote access capabilities, but like nobody in the car, no, no human exposure, so to speak. I mean, that's a huge milestone. Like, it's like, oh, a day early was did they kind of like polish up a new FSD version like earlier than expected, and they're like, all right, send it out. Like, this is the version that we needed to be able to send the cars autonomously with nobody in it. It's like, oh yeah, we were able to polish it and get it ready to go, so send it out. So I just find it curious how it's like a day early,
Yeah,
because obviously they have Model Ys sitting around like, a dime a dozen almost. They're pumping these things out left and right, so it's not like they had to wait to manufacture this very particular one. Like, there aren't too many variants. So I'm just curious why a day earlier than what Elon expected, especially because I think Elon's birthday is tomorrow, I believe. So why not just
early
wait for his
birthday
birthday?
present.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, wait till his birthday. It's like, it makes it extra special. But hey, you know, the fact that it
Yeah,
happened, it's like, okay,
maybe big speculation here. Maybe um they're gonna make the cars drive themselves completely on his birthday. That would be nuts.
Like you're saying more deliveries, or
I'm saying the cars
like
that are
are
out
you
there
saying
on the
consequence?
geofence area, no
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
Oh.
because they're already there. This car drove max 72 miles an hour on the highway. So if that
Yeah.
version is that clean, let's say, then why wouldn't they just say, okay, now that we did that delivery, which was yesterday, with nobody in it, let's just make it so there's no people in the cars tomorrow for Elon's birthday. And then boom, autonomous
That's
driving,
good though.
fully autonomous, no people, no. That one sounds nuts. But if it happens, that would be really cool for his birthday. Then it's like, you thought that was cool. Check this out.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I don't know. I hear speculation like across the board of like people think maybe 1 month where the robotaxi platform has, safety monitors or whatever. Other people are saying until the end of the year. They're like, oh, for sure through the end of the year we'll see. Maybe they roll out 1,000 robotaxis, but then for sure they'll still have the safety monitors. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's at some point there's a threshold where you don't have that many people to throw in to like 1,000 plus cars as safety monitors. Like you kind of have to cut it down. But I don't know. That's the cool thing about following Tesla is like you just put on your tinfoil hat and you kind of like think of everything and anything,
Hope
right?
that it happens.
Yeah, and see what
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually ends
Yeah.
up being
Again,
true.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with speculation. Again, this is just me throwing stuff out there and hoping that something sticks. But at
Yeah,
the end of the day, you never know. Like I remember the first time I saw the car driving itself, I go, this is gonna get delivered to someone's home eventually. And when I said that to my parents, they were like, "You think so?" And I'm like, "Well, it happened today. There you go. Like it's done." Like
yeah,
I said it a while ago when I first experienced autonomous driving, which was version 10 or version 9 or whatever, and it's like those weren't near close.
yeah.
But now we're there, which is tough for anyone to be like, "Oh, you know, it's never gonna happen." And for 1,000 people to be to avoid a collision seems, I don't know. I feel like the cars are smart enough not to do it now, but hey, I might be completely wrong, and that might be something that, again, it's more cautious. It's better to be cautious than anything else.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the car is really good at avoiding collision. No doubt about that. The problem that I have encountered in certain like situations where I have to take over because I don't think it's gonna like avert a collision fast enough is like unprotected left turns or whatever. I know it will avoid collisions, but it just cuts it too close for comfort. and and so I'll have to kind of just manually, take over just because it's that comfort level. And I think that's ultimately what you want with full self driving is having that comfort level of, hey, there's a car coming, it's gonna start kind of creeping out, but there's that comfort level where it's gonna give you that ample time to know, hey, it's not gonna wait till the last second and a half or second or half second to brake. Like it's just not gonna go. And so having that confidence that your car isn't gonna go when there's a car coming down 50 miles an hour on a street, like that's ultimately I think the holy grail when it comes to mass adoption of FSD. Um, and that's what I imagine like humanless FSD right now. Like I imagine that would be a V14. Like I would want that to be a V14. Even a .3 release. I'm sure there would still be some kinks here and there to kind of iron out before you let it go into the wild. Obviously, you're still monitoring it remotely, um, but there would still be that latency, right? Of you connected to the car and trying to actually potentially maneuver it if you had to. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like you said, just speculating here as well.
Yeah, no other way to think about it that it finally happened. Officially,
Yep.
a autonomous car was delivered with no one in it. And it's just step one, and I feel that maybe even the geofence is going to get wider in the next like week or again. It already like if it already drove all the way to this person's house, which I don't know exactly where that's at. We haven't seen the video. I would love to see the video. And so supposedly it was like 30 something minutes long, and then some guy cracked a joke that it stopped and like there was red lights and like it like parked in the middle of the red light, and like this guy was just trolling, of course, but supposedly it was only like 30 something minutes. And again, I think it's one of those things that because it already deliveries done that way for the rest of the time being, like, and that would be the, and this is tinfoil hat again, that would be the how far the geofence goes. Like every time there's like a order that's a little farther, they'll just
Yeah.
now and this much farther now and this much farther now until like all of Austin and like most of Texas, and then boom. Because there's a few places that the car could just start driving on its own once they get it down in Austin. Like I don't see why not. And even some
Yeah.
of the bigger like speculators of Tesla were saying that it would be in like 60 plus cities or something. I was like, by end of year, which I if they figured out the code on in version 14, like I don't see why they wouldn't do it. We're bound to have some type of issue, but as of right now, we're good so far.
Yeah. I definitely do think that there will inevitably be some sort of accident. I don't think it'll be the robotaxi's fault. Um, and then obviously from a mainstream media standpoint, like that's a whole different story. Tesla's gonna get bashed left and right. It is what it is. You know, we're used to that by now.
You're saying
Awesome.
state to state?
Yeah, yeah. State to state, kind of what the framework is there from a regulation standpoint. So I feel like there, at least from my perspective, a lot of question marks still regarding, for example, here in California, we have a ton of Waymos. When can and how fast can Tesla launch a robotaxi platform here? Supposedly they said by the end of the year. Hopefully that is the case. And if it is the case, then how many do they roll out right off the bat? You know, I guess a lot of it will be dictated by how well they progress through Austin, but uh, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um, but I did want to kind of call call to mind how literally 18-ish months ago or whatever, I remember watching the video. What was it? August of 2023, I believe. I forget when it was, but we were watching the video of Elon live streaming version 12. Do you remember that? Like Elon was live streaming
Yeah.
FSD version 12 for the first time. He said, "Hey, we're moving away from C++. We're going to full end-to-end neural
Hmm.
nets, and this is all just video training.
Yeah.
Like nobody taught the car what a stop sign is. Like this is just the car learning on its own." And I think that was like
Yeah.
almost 2 years ago, 24-ish months ago. And then obviously we get V13, and it's just amazing how much we've progressed in the last 18 to 24 months. Um,
Hmm.
to like, you know, it was C++ code all the way. They figured out there's just too much intervention that needs to be had, too many heuristics, and then let's move over to the kind of more natural end-to-end neural net. And now here we are, almost 2 years later, and a customer just got, and I'm pretty sure it might be an employee. So who knows? Or if not, they might be under some NDA as far
I'm
as
sure
like,
it is.
I think it is, right? And but to have that milestone to finally
Yeah.
just deliver a car autonomously, like that's what we've all kind of been waiting for, as investors, right? Like just these sort of executions. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
like you just know they're still cooking. You just know they're still executing, regardless of all the noise that's around. They're just still kind of marching forward.
And the market is like reacting to it.
Yeah, Yeah.
They don't know what to do with that. Like the stock has been just in the same area for a little while, and that's because our the cards deliveries are kind of low right now,
Yep.
which very low comparable to last year.
Yeah.
The fact is that robo taxi is out there, and that makes everyone kind of like, what do we do? Even Shamas and like a bunch of the Tesla's the dark horse. It's the one company that if you're in it, then you are going to go into a bunch of many different sectors that aren't invented yet. Like technically they're not big yet. Like Waymo's technically not that big yet. Tesla's full self driving also not that big yet. The robots not that big yet.
Yep.
You get exposed to all those things. Again, not financial advice. Definitely go
Right.
do homework on that. But at the end of the day, like exactly what you did, what you said. There, the milestone is finally crossed. There
Yep.
was a car being sent to somebody's house. That's
Yep.
by itself a huge achievement by Tesla and their whole team. I
100.
think it's going to be very interesting to have this conversation in like about a month or two, because again, we're just in the beginning,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to be like, oh, we don't know what's well. Give it a month, and then let let's see what happens. And these little small increments are just going to keep happening in between.
Yeah. Yep. They're still cooking. And that's the thing too, like you said, like
And
the
it'll be a
all in
chat
guys.
JB. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, like the all in guys, like you said, Chamath and Freeberg and those guys, like they were like, hey, Tesla is the dark horse here. And you kind of harken back to like the Amazon early days, right? Like they were a book distribution company, right? They were selling books, and everybody's like, who the heck is gonna, sustain a business selling books? Obviously, they didn't know what was cooking in the background. Netflix, who the heck can sustain a business where they're sending back and forth DVDs through the mail? There's a lot of overhead spend, all this stuff. While in the background, they were cooking on streaming services, like, and look where we are here, 5, 10, 15 years later, they're one of the, biggest companies on the planet, right? So I think, from my perspective, and I'm just a dumb guy that's kind of doesn't know what he's talking about, but, from my perspective, that's kind of what you're starting to see brew with Tesla, like they're quiet confidence. You don't see anything externally. They're not boasting. They're just kind of quietly in the background cooking. Like that's what they're doing. Um,
Why would
so,
a car company deliver books in a few years?
right,
Like
right.
exactly the Amazon story. Like, why would a car company be a delivery system? I don't know why that would make any sense later. But again, like you said, we're just two dumb dudes talking about this
Yeah,
interesting thing that might be happening. But again, we don't know. These are
yeah,
just possible outcomes that can come from car driving itself.
yep, yeah. I mean that is what's crazy is you can really go down a rabbit hole, a deep rabbit hole of all the implications of everything that the Tesla web kind of has entangled. Like on top of autonomous, you have autonomous driving. You bake in Optimus into that. Autonomous deliveries, whether it's food, whether it's your packages. I mean, Amazon's already doing that, right? Um, and then, autonomous medication delivery to seniors on top of being a caretaker to seniors. Like just so far-reaching implications here that people aren't even considering, and it's like and probably won't even be considered until you start seeing that reflected on the P&L. Like, oh wow, you're actually making money from, pharmaceuticals because you're delivering medication for, whatever pharmaceutical companies. It's like, holy cow, we got to add that to our spreadsheet. Like a simple, obviously more simply said than done, but uh, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And I think that the web is going to be so far-reaching that it'll be hard to, first of all, the numbers are kind of boggling to think about, but then two, it's just really hard to put into, cell B4 of a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and again, you said it, spreadsheet wise. They're finally realizing that the whole 420 flat fee is in gonna be in the next income statement. Like it's gonna show. And then
Yeah.
they're gonna do some wizardry on the in their numbers, and they're gonna write off the cars, and they're gonna be making some type of money officially in like a few months, and then they're gonna stick it in their spreadsheet finally, and it's gonna round up some numbers, and then they're gonna have to do it to like every quarter. Oh, they might grow this much next quarter or whatever, and then the stock's gonna go up a little bit because of that, right? And then it's just gonna keep blowing up till it gets to these absurd numbers that Kathy Wood has been talking about forever, and they're gonna look at her like, all right, you win again, got it, you win again. We were
Yeah.
wrong about this, blah blah blah, and she's gonna look. She looks like the crazy lady again that's willing to say what needs to be said. But even like Dan, he came out saying the whole 60 cities thing, and I was like, wow,
They're
that's
getting it.
bold of you to say on TV. Like you're actually understanding what's happening. Like that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Like it took everyone a little bit longer than I thought because again, I've been thinking about this forever. But again, it's one of those things where Elon said next year, and then the next year after that, and the next year after that. So it's kind of hard to like really trust in the fact that like this is what they're saying. I think my AirPods just died. But
I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you.
But it's going to be really hard for people to understand what's happening because of the fact that Elon has he's such an optimistic human being that it's hard for people to realize that when he says things, again, you got to step back and wait for it to happen a little bit, but it's bound to happen because again, he's relentless. It's going to happen
Right.
eventually because he's never going to stop. Like good luck more than it was worth. And again, it's one of those things where he just kept relentlessly going at it till they were like, all right, we'll sell it to you, fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think even going back to like Kathy Wood's number, right? The 2600 or whatever it is. It's almost it's almost kind of funny
What's up? It cut
how
out.
oh, I was just going back to Kathy Wood's 2600 number. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, going back to like Kathy Wood's 2600 number. And I just think how it's funny that to some extent I feel like even she is suppressing that number a little bit. Like because if she toggles that
Yeah,
number even higher, which I think she has high confidence it could be, um, like she would look like even more crazy, right? Like people already think she's crazy. If anybody on Wall Street were to kind of pitch these numbers of like, hey, Tesla could be a $2,000 stock in, 24 months, Wall Street would be like, bro, you're crazy. Come on, like really a car company? And so you almost have to kind of like walk that fine line of, hey, the majority of Wall Street, the majority of like institutional investors are still looking at it as, hey, they just, they manufacture cars, they sell cars, they have this kind of additional software that they could sell, but none of it is like too meaningful. It's all the core business, which it still is today, is selling cars, right? But it, but I think what people fail to realize is how quickly this new technology can like spread. It's a matter of literally almost flipping a switch, people realizing, holy cow, I can purchase a car that can drive me to and from work and I don't have to pay attention at all. Like, obviously that'll be down the road when, regulation kind of lets it be. But I think at that point, most people, once they are aware of that, they're not going to want to go to like a manual car, so to speak, or an ICE car. They want the car that can just chauffeur them around and they don't have to pay attention. They can just scroll on TikTok the whole time. Like that's what people want. And so, that's when you start thinking, okay, this is going to spread like wildfire. People are going to be willing to put up, money. If they're already paying 40 grand, 45 grand for a Camry, they're going to pay 40 to 45 grand for a self-driving car, no doubt about it. So, I just think it's a matter of time before people start becoming aware. We talked about it last time, butts and seats. Like once you get butts and seats and they realize, holy cow, I don't have to pay attention. Like, does this thing even need a steering wheel? No, the reality is it eventually won't, you know? So I don't know. I just get really amped up about it, how it's just a matter of awareness than it is like actual technology. Like the technology's there. It's proven it. You and I drive it all the time. We see it every day. It's just a matter of people seeing it themselves, you know? So
Yeah,
anyway, I'll get off
yeah.
my soapbox.
It was breaking up in between, but I totally understand what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
sorry, it was breaking up bad that time. Like I understood everything you said,
Yeah.
but it was just like choppy.
Okay. I think it should be fine on my end.
No, yeah.
I downloaded on my end, so I'm guessing it captured it okay on my end.
Oh, okay, okay. As long as you can hear me
Hmm.
and stuff, then we're probably fine.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like you said, it's gonna happen really quick. Like it will happen really quick, and people are gonna have a rough time realizing. Again, it's the Chat GPT moment for
Yep.
Tesla, though. People are gonna realize it when it's already out there, and people are gonna be able to take advantage of it right away, which would be amazing for anyone who needs a car to drive themselves. Like I can every time I'm on the road, I'm just like, they need one of those because that is some bad driving. Like that's whatever that person was doing is sketchy. So I'm glad that it's possible for people to just take over and be able to just not have to worry about driving ever again.
100% agree. 100% agree. Um, so, man, exciting times. I can't believe it. It's almost surreal. Like, I think it's still sinking in for me that there was a driverless delivery.
Did you lock yourself in the car again?
No, I'm talking to somebody.
Oh, did it break out?
I think it broke
Oh, there
up.
we go.
I can't hear you on my end.
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Um, but yeah, just kind of like closing thoughts. I think it's still sinking in for me that that it's here. It happened. You know, nobody in the car. First time in history that the car goes from point A to point B. Nobody in the car. Like, it's still sinking in. I don't even. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I I, I just hope we see a few more later on in the next coming months,
Yeah,
and this is gonna be our normal in a few months, and we're not gonna be that surprised anymore.
I agree. This is good. This is the beginning of the new normal. The beginning of the new book, where yeah, this was kind of the first domino to fall to a fully autonomous future one day. Where yeah, we'll look back 50 years from now and be like, wow, people actually used to drive cars by hand. Like, what kind of ancient people are you? You know, like that's what I
What is
imagine 50 years.
Blockbuster?
Yeah, Radio Shack. You know, Circuit City. Oh man, that'll all be
The
nostalgia.
yellow
50
books,
years.
the,
The
the yellow
white
pages.
pages. Yep, yep, all that good stuff.
What are we
Dude, but
talking
I have to
about?
say, but going to Blockbuster on a
What are we
Friday
talking about?
night with your parents, so dope, so dope.
Yeah, exactly. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Nostalgia moments. We were able to drive cars back in the day. Nostalgia.
man, our kids and our grandkids will not know. We'll never know how it was, how life was pre. I would
Nope.
say pre-COVID. Like I think after COVID was when everything just shot up from like a technological standpoint. Like just everybody working remote. The internet really need to kind of continue to expand its infrastructure to kind of allow for that hundreds of millions of people working remote. So which also allowed for further expansion on just large language models and which has been in the works for at least half a decade for sure, maybe a decade in OpenAI, I forget. So anyway, fun times, man. I,
Yeah.
I look forward to the next
Hey,
12 to 24 months.
things are gonna change, and hopefully everyone understands that we're safer for it. for the new future, and people learn that. Again, it's one of those things that they're gonna not like it for a while, but then they're gonna notice how much safer they are and how much cheaper it is and how much better we're off for it. So we'll see in a few months to a few years, and then people will realize that all all it is just better for us and better for humanity and just overall better. Done.
Yep.
And nostalgic moments like being able to drive your car will be a thing of the past.
Yeah. Man, that's definitely a great way to end it right there. Like that was dope. I'm definitely gonna be sleeping well tonight, just kind of knowing this finally happened. I think I need to sleep on it for it to like
Me too,
really
man.
sink
Me
in.
too.
Like, wow, here we are. This is what we've been waiting for. Like obviously robotaxi, but just it's not with the safety driver. It kind of just diminishes the full, extent of the emotion. But now with like nobody in the car, like the car is literally its own little robot, autonomous, being on its own, going from point A to point B. Like, man, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but it really is just
Oh,
crazy.
MKBHD said, I'm really feeling like I should make another bet that it wasn't going to happen tomorrow, which he would have lost a bet royally. He posted a video today talking about it. And I was like, that's so poetic how he was saying that. And then boom, the car drove itself. Nobody was in it, blah, blah, blah. Like everything he probably would have bet on, he would have lost really
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Bro, I did not know that. I
he's not
wonder
wrong
if
for it, by the way.
yeah.
I feel like again, he's not wrong for it because it's one of those things where it makes sense for him to make a bet against the timelines. Like, don't I wouldn't bet against Elon and what he wants, but his timelines, that's
Yes.
a good one. I feel like that's a safe-ish bet. Like, he's not gonna be right 100% of the time when he says that something might happen because we've seen it. Like, he has a bad track record of the time that it's gonna come out.
Bro, now I'm wondering if somehow when they recorded that podcast, because obviously they don't record and then like immediately release. So maybe they recorded it yesterday. And then somebody, and he says that, right? He said that physically yesterday. Somebody picks up on that, texts somebody at Tesla, hey, MKBHD is like, hey, he's willing to make a bet that you guys don't do it on by Sunday. And they're like, all right, we're releasing it today or Saturday. He's like, we're releasing it today. That would be like so poetic right there. It's like, dude, good thing you didn't make the bet because
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
bet
yeah.
that you did actually make of like hopefully delivering a robotaxi, a cyber cab by 2027, somewhere in 2027, like that's when he's actually gonna have to like shave his head. So, man, that's funny. I gotta look at that.